25th of April. First of all, can I remind everybody present at this meeting that it is being held remotely and is being live streamed and is capable of repeated viewing on YouTube. Please switch off your mobile phones so that it doesn't interfere with the sound quality. Can I also ask you to put yourselves on mute unless you're contributing to the discussion to avoid interfering with the quality of the sound? And please raise your hand. Because we're a small group, you can raise your virtual or your physical hand if you want to contribute. So I'm just going to go around the offices first of all, and I'll start with the Chief Executive, Dylan Williams. Good morning, Dylan. Good morning, Llynos, and good morning, everybody. Can I welcome Rhys Howard Hughes to his first executive as Deputy Chief Executive. Congratulations, Rhys. Good morning and thank you. Good morning to the Interim Monitoring Officer, another Rhys Hughes. Good morning, Rhys. And then Mark Jones, the 151 officer, is here. Is he here? Yes, he's here. Good morning. Vaughan Roberts, the Director of Social Services. Good morning, everybody. And Arwel Owen, the Head of Adults, is also here. Good morning, Arwel. Good morning, everybody. Rhian Jones, the Policy Officer, is also here. Good morning. Mr. Robin Jones, the Solicitor, is also here. Good morning, Robin. Good morning, everybody. I can also see Mr. Ned Michael, the Head of Housing, has also joined us. Good morning. And also present is Gethin Jones, the Council's Press Officer. Good morning, Gethin. Good morning. Anne Holmes and Meirwen Hughes are here as committee officers, looking after the minutes and making sure that the meeting runs smoothly, and Adrian is also here from the translation team. So those are all the officers, and apart from members of the executive, Councillor Glyn Haynes is also present. So good morning, Councillor Haynes. Before I move on, this is the last executive of this administration, so can I thank all officers for all their work over the last 5 years. Can I also wish all councillors who are standing again well, and also those who have decided not to stand again, and best wishes to everybody. And I'd like to thank both members of the executive who are standing down this year, Bob Parry and Meirwen Jones. I'd like to thank them for their contributions over the last 5 years. So I'll turn now to the agenda, and the first item is declaration of interest. So does any member or officer have a declaration of interest in relation to any item of business on the agenda this morning? No? I can see that Councillor David Roberts has also joined us, so can I also welcome Councillor David Roberts? So we'll go on to the second item, urgent matters certified by the Chief Executive. Is there anything, Dylan? No, nothing this morning. So we'll go on now to the third item, which is to present the draft minutes of the executive to be confirmed. The meetings held on the 9th of March and the 21st of March. So is anybody willing to propose that the minutes are accurate, please? Yes, I propose. Thank you, Councillor Meirwen Jones. Is there a seconder? Yes, seconded by Councillor Robin Williams. So I'll take a vote now. Councillor Ian Williams. I think Ian has just nodded. Yes, I'm happy to support. Councillor Richard Dew, I agree. Councillor Carwyn Jones, accept. Councillor David Thomas, agree. Councillor Ali Mummery, accept. And Councillor Bob Parry, accept. We'll move on now to item 4, which is to present for adoption the draft minutes of the corporate parenting panel held on the 15th of March 2022. I'll propose the minutes. Is there a seconder, please? Councillor Ian Williams has seconded. So I'll take a vote once again. Councillor Miriam Jones, accept. Councillor Richard Dew, accept. Councillor Robin Williams, accept. Councillor Carwyn Jones, accept. Councillor David Rhys Thomas, accept. Councillor Alan Mummery, accept. And Councillor Bob Parry, accept. Thank you. So we'll go on now to the 5th item, which is the Executive Forward Work Programme, and Rhian is going to present any changes. Thank you. Well, this covers the period up to December, and there are 2 changes to note today. Number 7, the June meeting, the annual report of the Statutory Director of Social Services on the effectiveness of the social services, and item 16 from the October meeting, the annual performance report for 2021-22, and that's all for today. So any questions or comments about those changes? If not, I'll propose that we confirm the Forward Work Programme. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Bob Parry. Councillor Ian Williams, I support. Councillor Miriam Jones, accept. Councillor Richard Dew, accept. Councillor Robin Williams, accept. Councillor Carwyn Jones, accept. Councillor David Rhys Thomas, accept. And Councillor Alan Mummery, accept. Thank you. So we'll move on now to the final item for today, which is item 6, which is the changes to the Constitution. And the portfolio holder who's responsible is Councillor David Rhys Thomas. I think he's going to say a few words before we hand over to Rhys Hughes and Robin Jones. So over to you first, David. Thank you and good morning, everybody. I'll just say a few words. I must admit that discussing the Constitution isn't the most exciting thing we do as an executive or within the Council, but the Constitution is a legal document. It's a very important document that gives a framework to all decisions taken by the County Council and sets out how we operate. Why? Well, the Local Government and Elections Wales Act 2021 sets out some changes to the County Council's committees. The 2 biggest changes are the Standards Committee and the Governance and Audit Committee. Also, after the recent boundary review, we'll have 5 additional members on the next council, so the Constitution must reflect that fact. I know from experience that after an election, it's a very busy time with group leaders and arranging who will be members of the executive and who will represent all the committees. And of course, a formula is used to ensure that there is a political balance. So it is essential when the new administration takes over after the election that the Constitution is clear and correct. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction, David. So who's going to follow, Rhys or Robin? Robin, good morning. I won't repeat what Councillor David Thomas has said, but as an executive, you are one of the consultees for changes to the Constitution, so that's why it's being presented this morning. So there are 2 changes. The first to reflect the increase in numbers of elected members after the election, and we want to allow all members to take part in the Council's work in some way or another. So we're proposing increasing the number of seats on committees in relation to the increase in number of elected members. So for example, the Planning Committee would go from 11 members out of 30 to 30 members out of 35 after the election. All the details are in the table. We don't propose to change all committees for a number of reasons. For example, some are statutory committees and others, their membership is set out under statute. So these changes are made, as David said, under the Local Government and Elections Act 2021, and they there are changes to the terms of reference of the Audit Committee and Governance Committee and the Standards Committee. And of course, membership of the Governance and Audit Committee will be changing. It'll have to have more lay members. Thank you for that explanation, Robin. So do members of the executive have any questions or any comments about the report? No questions or comments. So David, can I ask you to give us the recommendations? Yes, it's a pleasure. So I'll read them out. That the executive recommends to the council the adoption of the changes to the constitution outlined in this report, and that the council agree to make the changes recommended. And secondly, that the council agree to make the recommended changes and delegate to the monitoring officer the power to make the changes to the constitution as recommended, together with any ancillary or consequential changes arising. Thank you. Thank you, David. So David has proposed the recommendations. Is there a seconder? Councillor Bob Parry has seconded. So Councillor Ian Williams, I support. Councillor Miriam Jones, yes, I support. Councillor Richard Dew, I accept. Councillor Robin Williams, accept. Councillor Carwyn Jones, accept. Councillor Alan Mummery, accept. So that was the last item on the agenda, which brings the executive for this administration to an end. Thank you for all your contributions today and over